Good evening, students. This is Deekam Pathak from Freebird Experiences. I welcome you again to this wonderful series called Fun with the NCERT. So, in today's session, we'll be learning biology from Ms. Samashri. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Ms. Samashri, please continue on with the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Innovation Hub Shillong Science Center and the Freebird community for giving us this wonderful opportunity. I'm Himashri Kalita, a research intern at Margin Biologics, and we are doing some fun activities based on the NCERT biology syllabus. So for today's topic, I have selected the flower dissection part. So for the flower dissection part, I have taken a very common flower found in almost every household. That is the China rose, or the scientific name is hibiscus. It has different species which come with different petal colors. The one I have selected today is this. This is very common in every household. You can get this very easily. So I have chosen this flower. And for the other materials, that is one scissor, one forceps, one needle, and some pen, just to label all the parts that we are going to dissect. So to start with the flower, I have taken one flower. As you can see, the flower has different parts, and so scientifically speaking, it has 4 holes. Holes are like they are parts of the flower, but they are very much important as they are used to radially cut the flowers. In this flower, we have 4 holes, and the first one is this green part. They are known as sepals. But when we start dissecting, our first job is to separate this apicalyx, so that we can so the next step we can do the dissection of this calyx part, that is the green part, the sepal part. So for this apicalyx, in this particular species, we have 6 apicalyx. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In various species of this flower itself, this is a flower from the family Malvaceae. Malvaceae, many flowers, the Malvaceae family contain many flowers, and they all have different features. Maybe they have their number of apicalyx is also different. But in this particular species, you will get only 6 apicalyx in every case. So first, I will start dissecting these apicalyx one by one. As you can see, these apicalyx are not fused together, so it is easy to dissect them. I will try to dissect this without breaking them, so that you can get a very clear view when I place them in this paper, in this piece of paper. Most of the time, the apicalyx is green as they are part of the sepal only, but you can find another color also in very rare cases. Now I will arrange this. So this is the very first part of the flower dissection. We will dissect the apicalyx part. As I have told you earlier that this particular species has 6 apicalyx and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we start with the first hole of the flower, that is this green part, they are known as sepal. In this flower or most of the flower, the sepals are green in color, but there are some exception also. So for dissection of sepal, you will find different type of sepal. This sepal is fused. So this is known as gamosepalous. They are fused and they are not overlapping each other. So their estivation or arrangement is known as velvet. I will try to dissect the sepal without breaking it so that you can get the exact idea of gamosepalous flower or the term gamosepal. Just try to cut this from the stem. Be careful with the dissection part because these flower parts are very delicate and it is easy to destroy them while dissecting. So this is the first hole of the flower, that is the sepal, and it is green in color and it is fused together. So they are known as, this condition of fusing together of sepal is known as gamosepalous. Gamo means they are fused together to form one. Then again, one other thing which is very important about this arrangement of sepal is that they are not overlapping each other. They are fused together, but they are not overlapping. They are just independent of each other and just fused at the margins. So this type of estivation, that is arrangement, is known as velvet estivation. Estivation is the word we use for to understand the arrangement. This is basically arrangement, but the scientific word. So this is sepal. Another term of this sepal is calyx. And this is the first hole of the flower. Not only this flower, in every flower, sepals are known as the first hole of the flower. Then we are starting with the second hole of the flower, that is this red part, which we are call them petals. And the another term from these petals is corolla. So the whole name is corolla. As you can see, the petals are fused with the third hole of the flower, that is the androecium or the male reproductive part. So please be very careful while dissecting this because we don't want to destroy the ovary that is present inside this whole structure. Make a slight incision right here and try to remove it through a forceps or your nails. I am comfortable with my nails, but I can use the forceps also. But if you are doing it for the first time, don't use the forceps because it is so delicate that if you insert the forceps slightly more than the required amount, then the ovary will break out and you can't get the clear view of the whole gynoecium and androecium. So I will tell you, this is the petals or the corolla part, and this whole part is known as androecium, that a male reproductive part. The another name for this is stamen. As you can see, there is the only one stamen, that is all the anthers and the filament that are containing the anther is fused to form one stamen. Now, if we want to see the fourth hole of the flower, we will just make a incision throughout the stamen, and we will get a clear view of the fourth hole, that is the female reproductive part, that is pistil or carpel. This part is very delicate, so we have to be extra careful while we are getting the As you can see, the stamen is still connected with the corolla, and I will separate this so that we can understand all the different holes of the flower. These are the petals or corolla. The second hole of the flower. This is the androecium, or the stamen. The third hole of the flower, also the male reproductive part. Male and then this is the fourth part, which is gynoecium, or the carpel or pistil, and the fourth hole of the flower. And this is the female reproductive part. So as I have told you in the very beginning of the video or the session, that all these are holes that are present, and every flower has these four holes. First one is the sepals or calyx. Second one is the corolla or petals, and the third one is male reproductive part, that is the stamen or androecium, and this is the gynoecium, the female reproductive part. We can call them carpel or pistil. I will tell you about the difference between carpel and pistil sometime later. Then the whole gynoecium or the female reproductive part has three different parts. The first one to start with, this is the stigma. Stigma, this filament-like structure. This is the style, and this yellowish structure, which is look like a very small egg. This is actually the ovary of the flower. These five stalk-like structure, they are known as stigma. Then this is style, the filament, and this is ovary. So while I am explaining the pollination process, I will again explain all these terms. But for now, I will tell you how this works. The pollen grains from the male part of the flower, or in case of unisexual flower, from other flower, the male part, that is this yellowish part, which is known as pollen grains, that are present in some sacs known as anther. Again, the stamen, that is the androecium or the male reproductive part of the flower, has two parts. One is the anthers, and this is the filament. So these anthers are actually sac-like structures. That is, they are basically the pocket where pollen grains are produced, and they release these pollen grains so that they can travel to the female part of the flower, or the other flower which is female in case of such unisexual flower, and the pollination takes place, and then the fertilization of the flower takes place. And these filaments are the stalk that are holding these anthers. This is the filament, the stalk. So in the anther, they produce the pollen grains and they release the pollen grains. In this particular family of Malvaceae, in this particular species, the pollen grains are yellow in color. In some other flower, you will find different color of pollen grain, just like the different color of petals. These are the color of petals, the color of pollen grains are variable, but in this family, in this species, it is always yellow. That is the characteristics of the Malvaceae family. So this yellowish thing, yes, you can. If I can show you, these pollen grains are all over the paper I have taken, because they are very small granular type structures all over the paper. They have spread it. So this is their quality. This is the one science that they have used just to attract the petals, attract the pollinators, that is insect, birds, or human in some time. And these pollen grain attached to that, and then they travel through them, they travel to the female part of the flower, or the female flower in case of unisexual flowers. So this yellowish thing, that is the pollen grain, they will travel through different pollinators to the stigma, that is this structure, this cap-like structures the female reproductive part have. They are called stigma. In stigma, they will release, the pollinator will release the anthers that they have been carried from the male part to the female part, and the pollen grain will enter through this style to the ovary. And in ovary, they will meet with the ovum that is present inside the ovary, which is basically egg of human. If you talk about in reference to human or animal, that is the egg. Ovums are the egg, and these are the male reproductive part, and they travel through the style to the ovum, and the fertilization happen, and after that, after fertilization, we can get a new flower. So this is the whole process of fertilization and all the different part of the flower. And now these flowers, as I have told you earlier, also they can differ in flower, they can differ in arrangement. As I have told you, in case of sepal, they are fused, so they are gamosepalous. They have the velvet estivation, but if you see clearly, these petals are not fused. They are not. They are overlapping each other. So they are known as this estivation, where the petals, as if I will try to show you this. They are not overlapping each other. Sorry, they are overlapping each other, not like this sepal that are very clear with their margins. This type of estivation is known as twisted estivation. This sepal is the estivation or the arrangement of sepal where they are very clear, they are not overlapping, they have very definite margins. They are known as velvet, but here they are overlapping one another and they are known as twisted type of estivation. Again, this ovary, this flower has only one ovary, but in case of some other flowers, they have multiple ovaries. And then this stamen, there are only one fused stamen. That is the all these anthers are fused together to form one stamen. This is in case of many other varieties, any other species, there may be multiple stamens. So every flower has different arrangement of all these holes, but the common thing in every flower is that everyone have these four separate holes. This is the common part about every flower. And another thing that is, I have told you that sepal may be of another color also other than green. This also may be another color, but this calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium is the common thing in every flower. They have to need this sepal, corolla, male reproductive part, and female reproductive part to fulfill the whole process of pollination and then fertilization. These all have their own function in the whole reproductive system. While you are dissecting, it is very important to labeling all the part that you have dissected, so that you can understand, you can have a better view of the whole process, and you can show it to other also. So always remember to name after dissection. Now I will share some slide with you, and I will talk about the whole parts, a whole part of the flower more than this. I would like to share the slide with you. So I have told you that for the dissection process, I have taken the Cyna-rose. The scientific name of this whole genus is Hibiscus, and this whole genus have different species all over the world. In our northeast, it is a very common flower that we get in every household. So I have chosen this particular flower for this reason. There are another reason I have taken this flower, that is this flower is bisexual. Now what do you mean by bisexual? Bisexual means this particular flower have both androecium and gynoecium in it. That is, we can get both the male part and female part in the same flower. It is also known as perfect flower because it has both the female and male part in one flower itself. The another term which is opposite to the bisexual flower is the unisexual flower. Unisexual flower has only some have only the male part, another have some, only the female part. This is not the whole flower. They are not the perfect. They are known as imperfect flower because they have only one part. And in case of bisexual flower, they have both the part. And in some bisexual flower also you can get both the structure very clearly, but in hibiscus we can get both the structure as you have seen in the dissection process also. So they are known as perfect flower. So one of the reason that I have choose this flower for dissection is this also, because in this flower I can show you both androecium and gynoecium, that is male part and female part. Now you may ask one question that why dissection is important, why we are destroying such a beautiful flower. So uh, I know these flowers are very beautiful and we should not destroy them or ruin them, but for the purpose of science we can do that. And if you ask me why these are important, because we have to know the process of pollination, because flowers or the trees are the main cause of our existence. We have to know how the pollination happen, how the seed is formed, how the food is being formed, because this is the process through which we are getting our food. So the whole process of pollination is very important for us, not because the flower is beautiful or some we can get some very beautiful views while we are in our gardens, but because through the process of pollination or fertilization, the pollination lead to fertilization, and fertilization lead to production of seed and fruits are the thing we have for our food. So the whole process of pollination is very important to start with. As I have written in my slide also, by identifying each part of the flower and how they related to pollination, we can connect those relationships in nature that keep the world going round. And we have to get a bit better view that why this pollination is happening and how this pollination is happening. Why the pollinators, as I have told you, a flower use many things as their pollinator. One of them is bees, honeybees, bees, different kind of birds, insects, and even human. So why we are getting attracted to these flowers? Why we are touching these flowers so that they can we can carry their pollen grains to the female reproductive part. As I have told you, the flower parts have different colors, different beautiful colors, and some have different aromas also. So this is the reason that pollinators are getting attracted to them. When we touch a flower, when we because we find it very beautiful and we can get attracted to this, so we touch that. And when we touch that, the pollen grain will attach to our hand, and then it will carry forward to the female part of the flower. So this is the reason why pollinators are get attracted, and this is the reason why the petals of every flower is so beautiful and so aromatic, so that other pollinators also, like bird, insects, they get attracted to this. So let's start with the parts of hibiscus. As I have shown you the parts of a flower in real, but now I will tell you the terms related to it, because it's I know we have called them flower, the whole thing we call them flower, but what are the different parts of the flower itself? We don't call them androecium, gynoecium in our daily life. We call them very different things. So I will try to introduce you all the scientific term that is related to all these flowers. So as I have told you, petals. In this particular species, in this particular flower, they have always 5 petals. This is constant. You can't have a 6 petalous hibiscus, which is very rare case, that may be one in a million. So in normal, there are 5 in number, as you can see in my dissection procedure also. There are 5 petals in number, and these petals are as I have told you, they are overlapping each other and they are not fused. So the overlapping arrangement of petal is known as twisted arrangement. As you can see, as I have told you, this is the word twisted. Let me zoom it forever. So they are not overlapping, they are overlapping and they are not fused. As I told you right now, that is the estimation of their, as they are not they are overlapping, this is twisted. But what about they are not fused? They are not fused, so that estimation is known as polypetalous. That is, they are not fused together. The petals are independent to each other, and that is the then we know the word or the term polypetalous. So opposite of the polypetalous, it will be gamopetalous. In case of gamopetalous flower, the petals are fused together. As you have seen in case of hibiscus sepal, they are fused together. So that is the gamo. So remember the prefixes, that is gamo and polypetalous. Gamo is when they are fused together to form one. That is gamo. Either it can be gamopetalous or gamosepalous. In case of polypetalous or polysepalous, they are independent to each other. And while we are naming them as polypetalous or gamopetalous, it has nothing to do with the arrangement part. Arrangement part is completely different thing, and the gamopetalous or polypetalous part is completely different feature. So both are independent, both parameters are independent of each other. So I will tell you again, while the petals are fused together or the sepals are fused together, they are known as gamopetalous or gamosepalous. But while they are independent of each other, they are known as polypetalous. The second part here, I have added this stalk. The stalk is also important because they are the one passage from which food or nutrients is traveling from the tree or the plant to the flower. So this green part, they are the stalk. And then we have this sepal. I have already explained the gamosepalous or term here. I will again tell you that sepals are connected or united with each other, and they are known as gamosepalous. While they are, if you will find many flower that will have sepals that are not fused together, then they will known as polysepalous flower. As you can see in hibiscus, they are green in color and 5 in number in general. But there are some flowers, as I have told you while I was dissecting the flower, there are some flower, they have a sepal which is not green in color. There may be many other color also. In case of such situation, the sepal is known as sepaloid. They are as a whole known as sepal, but while they are not green in color, in that particular condition, they are known as sepaloid. Here I have written the spelling. Sepaloids. When the sepals are not green in color, then they are known as sepaloids. But why these sepals are important and why we are studying about that? So sepal is important because they protect the flower when the flower is still in bud. That means while the flower is in bud only, the sepal is protecting the whole flower. So sepals are important for that. In some flower, we can see that sepal and petals are connected. So in that case, they are known as tepals. 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 Tepals are when sepal, we can distinguish between sepal and petals. Then they are known as tepals. Then come the fourth hole, but I have added the slide earlier. So this is the female reproductive part. That is the carpel. As I have told you that you can call them either carpel or pistil. So what are the difference between carpel and pistil? So carpel is the single unit of all those stigma, style, and ovary. But in case of pistil, there may be the single unit, that is the sigma, style, and ovary, but they can contain more than one carpel, that is more than one stigma, style, and ovary. So in that case, that is known as the pistil. Just remember, carpel is the singular form and pistil is the plural form of the same thing. So I have told you while dissecting the flower that is the pistil or the carpel contain 3 different parts. That is stigma, style, and ovary. Stigma is the topmost part of the whole female reproductive system, and enter the pollen grain from male flower or male part of the flower will travel to the stigma and attach to the stigma. Then this pollen grain will enter through the style to the ovary, and in the ovary the whole fertilization process will take place. Now, if you remember, I have told you that is carpel, the female reproductive part is known as carpel. If there is one carpel, then we call that condition is monocarpellary. But if there is more than one carpel, then we call that polycarpellary. Mono is one and polycarpellary is more than one. Then come the male reproductive part, that is stamen or the androecium, and they have two different parts, that is anther and filament. Anther is the sac or pocket like structure. They will produce the pollen grains and release them so that they can take part in the pollination and fertilization process. And filament are the long thin tube where the anthers, that the sac that produce the pollen grains, are seeds. They can in this is the filament, and here the present. This is the filament. This is the filament. So that's how filament work. Now, when the stamen is fused to form one tube, like we have seen in case of hibiscus, that condition is known as monodelphous. If they are not fused to form one tube, they are separate, individual, then they will known as polydelphous. So again, I am telling you the prefix mono is for number one, and the prefix poly is from more than number one. So while when the stamen is fused to form one tube, that is monodelphous. When they are not fused, or they are individual and in many in number, then they are known as polydelphous. Another term I have written in the slide is epipetalous. So what is epipetalous? When the petals are fused with stamen, as you have seen in case of the hibiscus, they are known as epipetalous. So this is about the male reproductive part of the hibiscus or any other flower. The theory of this, the science about this part is always remain same. That is their work is also the same, doing pollination and all. Now, I have repeatedly saying the words that is unisexual flower and bisexual flower. For example of bisexual flower, we have used the cynaros or hibiscus. Now, what are unisexual flowers? So I have told you that unisexual flower have either androecium or gynoecium, that is either male part or female part. So I am sure you have heard about all this flower, that is papaya flower or coconut flower, which is very common in every household. That maybe your parents are saying or your grandparents are saying that this is not, this is a male flower, this is a male plant, or this is a female plant. So that is the reason behind their differentiation. The papaya flower or the coconut flower, they have only one reproductive part. Either they are male or they are female. There is not a single papaya flower or coconut flower that will you get which have both the reproductive part, just like the hibiscus. So they are known as unisexual flower. So that's with all the whorls, calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Now, I have told you that about all the flower parts. Now I have told you about the arrangement of sepal and petals, and I have told you that hibiscus sepal is velvet, and then hibiscus petals are twisted. So these are the four estivation or arrangement of sepal or petals in a flower. They are velvet, twisted, imbricate, and quincennial. So for velvet, you can get a very clear view here. That is, they are not overlapping each other. As you can see, if you consider these as sepal or petals, you can see that they are not overlapping each other. So this system is known as, this estivation or arrangement is known as velvet. Then come to the second one, which is we have observed in case of the petals of hibiscus. That is, they are twisted, they are overlapping each other. As you can see, this particular petal is overlapping this one, this particular petal is overlapping this one. So they are known as twisted estivation or twisted arrangement of the petals or sepals. You can find this estivation both in sepals and petals. Now the third one comes imbricate. Here, one sepal or petal is internal or being overlapped on both the margins. That is, if you have this, I will try to draw and give you a clear view of this, because the pictures I have added here is not clear enough. So this is one sepal of a particular flower. Then this is being overlapped. I will choose another color so that you can get a clear view. So this orange color thing is the another one which overlap the previous. So this is the first one, first petal, which is or sepal, which is being overlapped by these two outer petal or sepal. Now, as I have told you, there is 5 sepal or petals. So for that, the remaining one one overlap the margin and other is being overlapped. That is, this is being, this will present in internally. So this whole estivation or arrangement is known as imbricate. There are two types of imbricate, ascending and descending. In case of ascending, the first hole is present at outermost level. That is, if this is the first petal, this is the last petal, then they are known as ascending imbricates. But in case of descending imbricate, the opposite of ascending will take place, and that's how they are further get divided into two subunits of imbricate itself. Now we have the fourth one, that is quincuncial. This is basically a modification of imbricate estivation in which two petals are internal, two are external, and fifth one has one margin external and another was internal. Let me explain it again. So for the quincuncial, two petals are internal. They are present internally. This. Then the next two is they are totally outside, like this. But the fifth one is one margin of them is inside and another margin of them is outside. So this is the quincuncial estivation. We can find this in guava flower. The flower of guava will give you this estivation. Now, while I will dissecting, I have used a term known as syncorpus. So syncorpus is the term where carpels fuse together to form one structure. That is syncarpus. The other opposite term of the word syncarpus is the apocarpus. Apocarpus is when each carpel is individual to each other. As you can see, let me go back to this slide, and as here you can see all these stigmas are independent to each other, but they fuse to form one style and one ovary. So this whole condition is known as syncarpus. In case of Opocarpus, they are individual of each other. There may be 5 stigma or 5 something or 5 or more than 5 stigmas or less than 5 stigmas, but they, if the corolla is in the if the carpel is independent of each other, then they are known as opocarpellus. Opocarpellus or syncarpellus. Syncarpellus is when they fuse. Opocarpellus when they are individual of each other. So these are the term I have forgot to mention while I was explaining the female reproductive part. Now we are clear with that part also. So that's with all the female or male part or with the different part of the flower. That is, I will again repeat the whole thing so that you can clearly remember it. The flower has 4 holes. The first one is the calyx, that is sepals, and they are mostly in green in color, but even if you find the sepals are of different color, they are known as sepaloids. Now come the second hole, which are petals, the attractive part of the whole flower, which attract the pollinators for the process of pollination. They are different different in number based on the species you have taken or based on the flower you have taken, but their main function is to attract the pollinators, and they are they may be twisted estivation, or they can follow any estivation that we have studied right now. And then come the third hole, that is male reproductive part or the stamen. Stamen consists of 2 parts. One is anther and another one is filament. And the whole stamen or the male reproductive part, the scientific term for the male reproductive part is androecium. Then we have reached the fourth hole, that is the gynoecium or female reproductive part, which have either corolla or pistil. Now, corolla is the singular form and pistil is the plural form of corolla. Both are the same thing, but each corolla have 3 different parts. One is stigma, then the style, and the ovary. Inside the ovary, the ovums are present, which basically take part in the fertilization process. So this is about all the beautiful flowers we have seen. I have selected China rose because it is common and it is a perfect flower that have both a male and female reproductive part. But you can do the dissection process with other flowers. Flowers, that is, I have mentioned the unisexual flowers, papaya or coconut. You can try with them also and see whether it is female part or it is a female flower or male flower. Now that's all with the flower part. But just like the flower, the arrangement of leaves in a stem is also different. As you have seen, there are many leaves that are present surround us, and they all have different arrangement in the stem. So according to the leaves arrangement, that is the phyllotoxy. Phyllotoxy is the scientific word we use to describe the arrangement of leaves. While we are using the term estivation, while we are explaining the arrangement of petals and sepal, just like that, phyllotoxy is the arrangement of leaves in a stalk. So the first one is alternate leaf arrangement. Alternate leaf arrangement is this thing. So as you can see in this photo itself, the leaves are present in one plant node, but one plant node has only one leaf, and they are here they are arranging in an alternate manner. That is one, then another, then another, then another, then another. So this is the alternate leaf arrangement. Then comes the opposite leaf arrangement. In opposite leaf arrangement, you can see that 2 leaves are arising from the same plant node, but in opposite direction of the stem, but they are arising in 2 different direction. So this is opposite leaf arrangement. This is the 2, and then we have this whole leaf arrangement. In this, at least 3 leaves at its node. As in case of opposite arrangement, we have seen that two leaves are arising from the same plant node. But in case of whole leaf arrangement, there are three leaves at each node. They can be in both opposite, or both are present in the same direction, but at least three leaves at each node in case of whole leaf arrangement. Then come the basal leaf arrangement. In case of basal leaf arrangement, all the leaves arising from the one point of the plant, that is, all the leaves arising from the base of the plant. Um, few taxonomists consider that the basal leaf arrangement is part of the whole leaf arrangement, but there is a debate going on, so we will not get into that deep of the topic. Just remember that basal leaf is one plant node has three leaves at each node, but in case that is in case of whole leaf arrangement. But in case of basal leaf arrangement, all the leaves of the plant arising from the base of the plant. Then we have this roselet leaf arrangement. This is very common in carrots. If you have a carrot in your garden or in your kitchen garden, you can observe this. The leaves are arranged in a very dense and radiating cluster. They are usually arise from the base of the plant. That is somehow related to the basal leaf structure, but they are very different. In case of basal leaf, there can the amount of leaf are very less, but in case of carrot leaf, that is rosette leaf arrangement, they are present in a very dense radiating cluster form. So they are both different in very fundamental things. They one is basal leaf arrangement, another one is rosette leaf arrangement. Then comes this last arrangement, that is deciduous arrangement. That is, leaves are arranged in two rows opposite side of the stem. As you can see in this picture itself, it is they are species of a aloe vera family. Here is the stem, and leaves are arranged just opposite to each other from the stem. This is the stem, and leaves are arranged in two rows, clear rows opposite side of the stem. This is the deciduous arrangement. So this is all about the arrangement of flower or the different parts of flower and the arrangement of leaves also. Different taxonomies have different views on this leaf arrangement, but this is the basic that we have studied in our classes also. So you can get a basic idea of how flower parts are arranged, how leaves are arranged. Now, as you can remember, in my whole session, I have talked about the process of pollination and fertilization. To understand that whole thing very clearly, or in a better view of the, to get a better view of the whole process, I would like to share a video with you so that you can imagine the things very clearly. So here, the things I have explained already, the anther and the filament, they as a whole, they are known as stamen, and the pollen grains are the male gamete. Here the carpel, and they possess the three parts, that is stigma, style, and ovary. And inside the ovary, the ovums are present, which are the female gametes. And for you all know that in human also, in animal also, and in plant also, for fertilization, it is important when male gamete or egg cell, male gamete is fused with female gamete and form a zygote. So this is the process of sexual reproduction in plant. The female gamete and the male gamete fuse to form a zygote. But how does they come in contact with each other? So here the pollen grain works. The pollen grain have the male gametes, and the female gametes are present in the ovum. So transfer of male gametes from stamen of a flower to the stigma of same or other flower, the whole process is known as pollination. So here, this is a bisexual flower which both male and female part. So they are known as the self-pollination. Yeah, when a bisexual flower that have both male and female part and pollen grain from the male part travel to the stigma of the female part, the whole process is known as self-pollination because they are pollinating on their own. Now, when pollen grain from stamen of one flower to travel to the stigma of another flower, in case of the unisexual flowers, the whole process is known as cross-pollination. So I have told you the word pollinator. The pollinators are nothing but the agents of pollination. Then pollen grain is landing in the stigma and they travel to the ovary through this style. And then they get into the ovary. And in ovary, the male gamete that is present in the pollen grain will fuse with the female gamete that is present in the ovule, and zygote is being formed. So where the zygote is divided into multiple times, and the zygote formation process is known as fertilization. So after pollination, the fertilization will take place, and then the zygote will develop. They will divide into many times, and they form the. As you can see, the fertilization will take place, and then zygote will divide it many times to form the embryo. That time, the ovule will develop into a very protective layer, and that is known as seed. So that is the ovule is the seed that we have found in every plant or flower. Then the whole ovary, after the ovule is converted into seed, the whole ovary will convert it into fruit to protect the seed or to protect the ovule, and the formation of fruit will take place. So this is the whole process from pollination to formation of fruit in a general way. Yes, it is a very complicated process while the nature is doing it, but this is the general overview of the whole process. In today's session, I have shown you different parts of a flower and the dissection of flower, which is very interesting. You can try it on your own. Just careful with the scissor and needle, and you can try different flowers. While not only is a cynorrhosis, any flower that is present in your neighborhood. After that, I have explained the different parts and its function, different parts of flower and its function. While in the process of pollination, I have discussed something about the process of pollination, how it will take place, what are the different function of the different parts of the whole flower, and why pollination is important for us for the flower also, and how fertilization takes place after pollination. So this is the summary of our whole lecture. Hope you enjoy the session. Please enjoy the section of flower, different flower that is present. And yes, that is for today's session. If you have missed anything, please go to Margin Biologics YouTube channel. We have already uploaded the whole dissection process video there with some explanation. If you have missed anything in this session, you can refer to that. Thank you so much for today's session. And yes, in our future sessions, we will try to do some more fun activity so then you can learn some more fact about biology or about science through some fun activities. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you, Ms. Himashri, for the wonderful session. And yeah, as Ms. Himashri has mentioned, the link to Mergent Biologics YouTube channel is mentioned in the description. So feel free to look at that. Look at it. So yeah, until next time, thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care, and thank you, Ms. Himashri. Take care. Bye bye.